Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Hot News. We got some good stuff to talk about today. So let's do that after I tell you about the good stuff that is today's video sponsor, Ting. They're a mobile phone carrier that does things differently, and the UFD tech team is on Ting here in the United States, and our average phone bill for 2 lines is $23 a month. That's because you only pay for what you use, and the UFD tech team doesn't use a whole lot because they're always on Wi-Fi, so our bill is super cheap. You check your rates, compare whether or not you would save money with Ting, but you could definitely have coverage and bring your phone over because they're covered under T-Mobile and Sprint, and the new Verizon network being added under their umbrella. So Ting prioritizes customer service, and for the entire month of August, if you use the link in the video description, ufd.ting.com, normally you'd save $25 on your bill, but this month they're giving away $50 if you use the link in the video description. That means for me personally, if I were to use ufd.ting.com, I would not have to pay for my phone bill for the UFD tech team for 2 whole months, and plus, because it doesn't really cost me a whole lot. $50 in Ting credit when you sign up using ufd.ting.com. Go ahead and do so down below at the link in the video description. Check it out. It makes sense. Okay, it's cheaper. You get all the coverage that you need. It makes sense for a lot of people, especially if you're on Wi-Fi all the time. Which I know you're on Wi-Fi. I know you're searching the internet, and I know you're going to do it on a graphics card. So let's talk about Big Navi for a second, because there's more information being leaked about xCloud, which is the rumored code name behind Big Navi, or Navi 21. And the details surrounding that is that it's going to have 5,120 stream processors. You might remember that this is not necessarily something new. We've seen this quite often. You see Navi 21 listed right there. It is likely going to have 4 shader engines, 2 shader arrays per shader engine, and 10 compute units per shader array, which would be 80 compute units, thereby 5,120 stream processors. And how that stacks up against everything that we have, the Arden GPU, which is supposed to be the one on Xbox, is supposed to have 3,584 compute units, and we know that that outputs at a 12 teraflop region. So Big Navi on the desktop would have significantly more, 5,120, or 42% more, which would put us in the 17 to 18 teraflop region at the same clock speed. If the desktop cards are any faster in clock speed, a la the PlayStation 5, we could potentially see somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 teraflops, which is kind of around the region that we've been hearing rumored. So it does look like desktop computers would be about 40% faster than the console at the high end. But again, you're probably going to end up paying $700 for this card versus, $500 for the entire console. Regardless, it does look like Big Navi is shaping up to be something beautiful, but it also looks like Nintendo Switch 2 is shaping up to be something beautiful, because there's a new job listing that has apparently gone live for NVIDIA, where they're looking to hire people to help them out with console development, specifically also enabling the DLSS 2.0 AI upscaling. If they have anything that can integrate artificial intelligence and graphics technology with working on next generation graphics and AI technologies for gaming consoles and AI edge devices. This could potentially mean that we might have some AI upscaling in the Nintendo Switch 2, which Nintendo has said that we're about halfway through the product life cycle of the Nintendo Switch, which could potentially give us the sequel in 2023, which would be enough time for NVIDIA to develop this into their Tegra SoCs, and we could see a mobile handheld form factor that could easily run 1080p 60 FPS on a local version, and then when you put it on a TV, 4K 60 because of AI upscaling. That could be something that's highly intriguing. I think a higher resolution display running at 60 FPS and then 4K 60 when you put it on your TV is what the next gen Switch needs. And if they can solve that with AI upscaling without having to compromise on battery life or noise with the fan, I'm heckin' excited about that. We'll have to see how that pans out. But while we're waiting for the Nintendo Switch update, Apple's updating their iMac with new 10th gen Intel CPUs, Radeon Pro 5000 GPUs, as well as the nanotexture glass on the iMac, and a new 1080p FaceTime HD camera instead of the 720p garbage camera that used to be there. The pricing is actually staying the same. You're actually just getting increased specs, a 6-core to start it off with the Radeon Pro 5300. The highest end is going to have an i7 with the 5500 XT being in there. And just for anybody who's not familiar, the nanotexture is basically little grooves that they cut into the glass that helps to prevent reflections coming onto the screen and making it so that it's a more matte display. However, they also did a quick iterative update on the iMac Pro without giving it the nanotexture glass option, which is weird because you would figure that's a more premium option. So why wouldn't they bring that to their premium device? But who knows? well, maybe not the head of marketing anymore, because Phil Schiller is departing Apple for after being with the company for, I believe it was 33 years. He is now going to be an advisor to Apple. This is very similar to what Johnny Ive did. He was one of the head creative designers. He quit Apple to become a consultant to Apple. So potentially they can charge more for their services to Apple and other clients instead of being stuck at one place. It might be something that could allow him to express his freedom elsewhere, which is what Apple is reportedly doing, looking to express their freedom in buying TikTok. At least that's what's being alleged out of Axios. They're saying that Apple is interested, alongside Microsoft, of picking up TikTok. However, that was quickly countered by Apple themselves in a report to The Verge saying that Apple, no, we're not buying TikTok. No, we don't want that. So it does look like Microsoft's going to be the only one who's interested in saving that cesspool of a social media. I'm kidding. I actually don't terribly hate TikTok as far as like the social media that it is. Anyways, while we're talking about companies buying things out, it looks like Samsung's looking to join in on the conversation with regards to purchasing ARM. ARM is the maker of tons of different CPUs and everything that you use in your mobile phone. Well, it looks like Samsung is looking to join it for a 3 to 5% stake and like be part of a consortium that would buy ARM instead of NVIDIA buying out ARM, which would make more sense for the end consumer, because if NVIDIA purchases ARM, it's then competing with all of the consumers of ARM. Everybody who purchases from them is then NVIDIA's. It just wouldn't work for NVIDIA to be that and then like keep the open ecosystem that ARM has so worked to develop. And T-Mobile has worked to develop their 5G network. In fact, launching the first standalone 5G network in the United States that has now gone live. They're saying that it is now 30% larger than their previous one. And just to compare this to other mobile phone carriers, the 5G rollouts that have happened have been built upon their LTE network. This one is the first standalone one, and it's going to cover 2,000 more towns and cities, which, check their map, actually is rolled out to Gainesville. So that the previous 5G rollout didn't include my city. Now it does. England is my city. And now Google finally has caught up to Apple with regards to software on their Android devices, with Nearby Share now being out, which is rivaling Apple's AirDrop, which I didn't realize so many people used until I did get an iPhone and realized that everybody uses AirDrop to send files. Well, Nearby Share is coming out to Pixel devices as well as some Samsung phones, which will allow you to communicate with them and send files and all of that. And Nearby Share will choose which protocol is the best for you, whether it's Bluetooth Low Energy, or peer-to-peer Wi-Fi. You can make all of that happen, and you can have hidden and visible to some contacts or all contacts for privacy reasons, so you can make sure that it's a lockdown thing and you can share with who you want. But finally, Android is getting a feature that Apple has had forever that a lot of people actually really love. About time, but it's not rolling out to all Android devices. That might happen in the future. They are apparently bringing it to Chromebooks soon, so you could do that. And you could play cloud gaming on your mobile phones starting September 15th, because the xCloud is hitting Xbox Game Pass Ultimate on September 15th. The xCloud rollout is going to start in 22 countries, 100 games. You're going to be able to play on the go. This is basically the nail in Stadia's coffin. I don't care if Stadia's latency has gotten better. I don't care if Google is trying to give people $10 off of the controller. The issue with Stadia was never the latency, because latency is actually totally playable. I don't like whatever latency analysis are out there. You totally play cloud gaming. It's all going to be the same. It's really the game catalog, the service that they're offering. It's just not there. But let's keep talking about game consoles for a second, because we got new 360-degree images of the DualSense controller as well as other PS5 accessories. You can see here somebody took a 10-second clip of the DualSense. You can see it rotating around, as well as the new headphones that are coming out. They actually look pretty stunning. And then finally, the remote, in case you care about any of that. And I personally care about Final Fantasy XVI. Looks like that's going to be coming out, according to a new rumor that's out there saying that PS5 exclusivity will be happening for a little while, and the game was supposed to be revealed back in June, and it's a lot closer than we would think. Potentially even, hopefully, next year? I would love a Final Fantasy XVI launch next year. PS5 exclusivity, potentially timed exclusivity. I'm excited. Hopefully this doesn't take forever. This hopefully doesn't get my hopes up, but it is indeed a rumor, so I don't know how far this will go. But I'm hyped for Final Fantasy 16. Let me know what you guys think down below. I did finish Final Fantasy 7. I did appreciate it. The remake took it in a good direction. I do enjoy that. Now it's time for me to start playing, what the heck, I still have to finish Persona 5 Royal. I have a bunch of other games that I need to get to on my PS4. Anyways, that's going to be it. That's going to be the end of this episode of Hot News. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out today's video sponsor, Ting, the mobile phone carrier that does things differently and does it so differently that they're giving you double the amount of Ting credit that they normally do. ufd.ting.com to save $50 off of your bill with them, which would be over 2 months for me. That's phenomenal. Big thanks to them. Big thanks to you for watching this episode, and thanks to everybody's support with regards to my son. He will be in surgery as of the time that this video goes live, so we're just kind of keeping tabs on that. I can't be at the hospital with him. My wife is at the hospital, and because of coronavirus rules, we can't swap out, so I'm stuck at home with the older kids, making Hot News at the very least, even if I'm not working on anything else, and appreciate all of the love and support that you guys have shown. Goodbye.